New Ireland was a crown colony of the United Kingdom established in modern-day Maine after British forces captured the area during the American Revolution and again during the War of 1812. The colony lasted 4 years during the Revolution, and 8 months during the War of 1812. At the end of each war, the United Kingdom ceded the land back to the United States under the Treaty of Paris and Treaty of Ghent, respectively. American Revolution. In 1779, the British adopted a strategy to seize parts of Maine, especially around Penobscot Bay, and make it a new colony to be called New Ireland. The scheme was promoted by exiled Loyalist John Califf and John Nutting and Anglo-Irishman William Knox. It was intended to be a permanent colony for Loyalists and a base for military action during the war. In early July 1779, nearly 3 years after the American Patriots had declared independence from Britain, a British naval and military force under the command of General Francis Maclean sailed into Custine's commodious harbour, landed troops, and took control of the village. They began erecting Fort George on one of the highest points of the peninsula. Alarmed by this incursion, the state of Massachusetts sent the Penobscot Expedition led by Massachusetts General Solomon Lovell and Continental Navy Captain Dudley Saltonstall. The military expedition consisted of a fleet of 19 armed vessels and 24 transports, carrying 344 guns. Although badly outnumbered, Maclean and his British forces withstood the 21-day siege, and the Americans were routed by the arrival of British reinforcements under the command of Collier. The Royal Navy blocked an escape by sea, so the Patriots burned the ships near present-day Bangor and walked home. New England was unable to repel the British threat despite a reorganized defense and the imposition of martial law in selected areas of Maine. Some of the most easterly towns tried to become neutral. The battle was one of the greatest British victories of the war. The failed Penobscot Expedition, which cost the revolutionaries $18 million, proved to be the greatest American naval defeat until Pearl Harbor in 1941. The 74th Regiment held Majabaga until the end of the war, when it was ceded to the Americans as part of the peace settlement. Saltonstall and Revere were later court-martialed, charged with cowardice and insubordination. The boards found Saltonstall guilty, but acquitted Revere. At the end of the Revolutionary War, many American Loyalists in the area migrated eastward to the Canadian Maritimes, some towing the houses behind the boats. Subsequently known as United Empire Loyalists, they crossed the newly established international boundary line of the St. Croix River and established St. Andrews, one of the oldest towns in New Brunswick. In addition, many soldiers of the 74th chose to be disbanded in St. Andrews, and took up land grants there along with the Loyalists, rather than return to Britain. After the peace was signed in 1783, the New Ireland proposal was abandoned. In 1784, the British split New Brunswick off from Nova Scotia and made it into the desired Loyalist colony, with deference to king and church, and with republicanism suppressed. It was almost named New Ireland. The Treaty of Paris that ended the war was ambiguous about the boundary between Maine and the neighboring British provinces of New Brunswick and Quebec. This would set the stage for further fighting in the 19th century. The New Ireland colony and the Penobscot Expedition was fictionalized in the 2010 novel The Fort by British author Bernard Cornwell. War of 1812. During the War of 1812, from his base in Halifax, Nova Scotia, in August and September 1814, LT Governor of Nova Scotia John Cope Sherbrooke sent a naval force and 500 British troops to conquer Maine and re-establish the colony New Ireland. In 26 days, they succeeded in taking possession of Hampton, Bangor, and Machias, destroying or capturing 17 American ships. They won the Battle of Hampton and occupied the village of Custine for the rest of the war. The Treaty of Ghent returned this territory to the United States. The British left in April 1815, at which time they took £10,750 obtained from tariff duties at Custine. The brief life of the colony yielded customs revenues, called the Custine Fund, which were subsequently used to finance a military library in Halifax and found Dalhousie College. Dalhousie University has a street named Custine Way.